What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the February 5th, 2022 edition of Talking Smack, being hosted by Matt Camp and filling in for Jackie Redmond this week, Scott Stanford. I think I've said this before. Jackie Redmond isn't bad. I just feel like she tries too hard sometimes. I do feel like Scott Stanford, having been around for a long time, having done this for a very long time, is just more of a natural in the role for like a host of this show than Jackie. But that might be just me. So I didn't mind that she was replaced this week. They didn't say where she was. I don't know if she was sick. She had something else going on. I have no idea. Joining them in the hot seat. Last week we had Kane here on Talking Smack. We had Eric Bischoff on Raw Talk this week. The week before that, we had Shawn Michaels on Raw Talk right before the Rumble. Unfortunately, they were back to the same familiar face in Booker T, who I would prefer over someone like Jerry Lawler. But his analysis isn't really that much better than Jerry's. Booker T's is not great. Let's just get that off the bat right off the bat here. Let's just talk about that right off the bat here. Not the greatest analysis from Booker T. But anyway, so to start the show, we see the return of Goldberg replayed from the beginning of SmackDown. And I talked all about this in my in-depth analysis breakdown of my SmackDown audio review from yesterday. So check that out when you get a chance. But they replay that footage of Goldberg confronting Roman Reigns, setting in stone the Universal Championship match for the pay-per-view at Elimination Chamber later this month. Booker says that people are still excited about Goldberg. So Booker's worst take is the first take here on the show. He's not technically wrong. There are still people who do care about Goldberg. I like Goldberg, but I feel like at this point, it's the law of diminishing returns. He's been back so many fucking times. The matches are usually not good. He doesn't need to be in the title picture. Although I do feel like the match makes sense, and I'm glad they're doing it. I don't know if it'll be a good match at all, but beyond this one, though, I feel like in the last year and a half, they just haven't really figured out how to utilize Goldberg and really maximize what they have with him. At this point, people just really want him to go away. So if this is indeed it for him as his last match, and I hope to God it will be, this is a good match to do. Anyway, so he says that people are also going to see something special at Elimination Chamber with this match, and Matt, which is also probably not true. I mean, maybe especially bad, but I don't know about that. Other than it's just going to be maybe a bad match. It could be a good match. It could exceed expectations. Who knows? I'm not expecting it though. Matt Camp says that you can't count out Goldberg, but at the same time, you can't bet against Roman Reigns while he's in the midst of this historic run as the Universal Champion. Booker says that Reigns has proved time and time again that he is the best in the business. And come Elimination Chamber, when he beats Bill Goldberg, he's also going to prove once again why he's the head of the table. Booker also feels that Rousey chose Charlotte, because Scott brings up, why did she choose Charlotte and not Becky Lynch? I mean, that's probably the question we're all asking ourselves right now. And Booker, I applaud his effort to come up with an answer here, a proper explanation. But he simply says, and he's not wrong to an extent, he just says that Rousey has had Flair's number, and because that she knows that she can beat Flair, that's why she chose to contend for her championship at WrestleMania. I don't necessarily agree with that. Rousey, yes, did beat Charlotte at Survivor Series 2018, which Matt Camp acknowledges, albeit by disqualification. So it's not like she beat her there. She threw her out of the Rumble. Maybe that's what he's referring to. Beyond that, though, it's not like Rousey has beaten Charlotte 5 times. Survivor Series and the Rumble are the only 2 times that she has ever gotten one over on Charlotte. And that first time, Charlotte intentionally got herself disqualified. So I don't know if I agree with that analysis. He also says that Charlotte Flair wants this match. Again, I don't know about that. I think she just wanted this match from a storyline standpoint because she would like to be the main event of WrestleMania. Not because, I really want to face Ronda. Why the fuck would you want to face Ronda? I mean, it's not as obvious as a beef as Ronda has with Becky. So I will maintain that as the money match to do. They're not doing it, whatever. He just says that Charlotte wanted the match and she wants to prove that she can beat her, which hopefully she does not. They also say, they kind of close it out by saying that Rousey is looking for that first SmackDown Women's Championship come WrestleMania. And Flair beating Rousey would also prove that she's the queen of WWE. So then they recap the Jimmy Uso versus Eric Rowan match. Eric Rowan, good Lord. The Eric of the Viking Raiders match. It was all of 2 minutes. No one gave a fuck. It did serve as a small preview of what to expect in the SmackDown Tag Team title match at Elimination Chamber in a few weeks. But again, it was so short, this really meant nothing. We hear backstage from the Viking Raiders with Megan Morant. And the very first, this isn't like egregiously bad by any means. But the Viking shit from the Viking Raiders, like the promo specifically, I know people don't really see this stuff because it doesn't air on television most weeks. It's awful. It is awful. Oh my God. Ivar talking about, oh, this was just chapter one. And I'm not going to do the Viking voice, but he said this was just chapter one. Eric said that it's more than just about one battle. Who cares? You're a fucking loser. Stop making excuses. You lost. You lost. And you're probably not going to win the SmackDown tag team titles either from the Usos. But the very first thing that Ivar said to Megan, he called her lady. It's like, she has a fucking name, dude. Like, is that a Viking thing to do by calling people lady? Like, he wouldn't have said man if it was Kevin Patrick. So again, I'm not really offended. I'm a guy myself, so it's not that big of a deal. I just thought it was weird. I'm like, oh, lady. That's what Ivar said. I'm just like, what is going on here? The Viking shit, like I said, is terrible. I am surprised that after 3 years, they were never doing this shit in the next day. I am shocked that after 3 years, they are still doing this shit on the main roster. It is just egregiously bad. The accents are really bad. The characters are terrible. They are not over at all. I find it impossible to care about this team at this point. Back in the studio, they recap the Ricochet versus Ridge Holland match that Ricochet won, followed by the tag team match with Holland and Sheamus beating Ricochet and Cesaro. Who cares? They do mention that Sheamus has been teaching Holland a lot, which is why they've been able to maintain their winning ways as of late. They also talk about DeVille dodging Naomi before throwing it backstage to Megan's interview with Naomi. And Naomi says that because she's facing Charlotte Flair next Friday on SmackDown. Forgot to mention this in my SmackDown audio review. But Naomi is challenging Charlotte next week for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Yes, we already got Ronda and Charlotte set in stone for Mania, but let's believe for a second that Naomi's actually going to beat Charlotte next week on the show. And also, they didn't mention, too, Adam Pearce was the one that gave her the match, but he never said anything about, like, disallowing Sonya from getting involved. What is stopping her from getting involved? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And she even says here, Naomi does, I wanted to get my hands on Sonya. This is a bigger match, though. I've proven before I can almost beat Charlotte, and I know I can win that championship when there's no outside interference. What's stopping them from doing any outside interference? It's not inside a steel cage, and even then there would probably be interference. But it's not like, like they never really made it clear that Sonya can't get involved. It's not like Adam Pearce is keeping her at home. What is stopping Sonya or one of her minions from preventing Naomi from winning the championship? It's comical. It's comical. Booker even goes so far as to say that Naomi should not respect Charlotte Flair. She shouldn't respect her. If you want to win the championship, can't respect her opponent. He never did. He did whatever was necessary to win his matches, he said. So Booker going into heel mode here on Talking Smack. He also brings up how it was 5 years ago, almost a distant memory at this point, that Naomi won her first championship in WWE in the form of, or at least in the main roster, in the form of the SmackDown Women's Championship at Elimination Chamber 2017. And if she wants to repeat that feat, she can't respect her opponent. And it's all about checks and championships, he says. All right, Booker, whatever you say. They then recap Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal, who gives a fuck, as well as the McIntyre Corbin Madcap Moss segment, again, who gives a shit. We hear backstage from Drew quickly. Drew says that the doctor told him he wouldn't make the Rumble. Basically what he said on SmackDown earlier in the evening, but he was told by the doctor that he wouldn't make the Rumble, went out, rehabbed to the bone, worked his ass off, and was able to get cleared. And he went back to that same doctor, and that doctor asked him, are you a cyborg? And he came back in the Rumble. And he's going to make Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, bum-ass Baron Corbin, whatever, King Corbin. He's going to make his life hell until he gets what he wants, very likely a match with Corbin, and knocks his head off his shoulders. And his sole motivation right now is getting past Madcap Moss at Elimination Chamber. Yes, they are doing that match again. Drew already beat this man decisively at day one, and they are yet doing this match yet again at Elimination Chamber for absolutely no fucking reason. Moss is not good. The character is fucking terrible. The Corbin stuff is not great either, but that as a Mania match is just awful. Drew really should be blowing past Corbin Elimination Chamber and then doing something else at Mania. I don't know what that would be. I'm not even really sure what would be better than this at this point because the SmackDown roster is so thin. But good Lord, this segment and this whole feud has been fucking terrible. Holy shit. That was Talking Smack in a nutshell, though, for February 5th, 2022. Not a great episode. SmackDown sucked on Friday. Them spending a majority of the show recapping that show, which is their job here on Talking Smack, wasn't good because none of what we saw on SmackDown for the most part was good. It just wasn't good. Drew tried the interview. it was fine. Naomi's interview was fine. Some, open gaps of logic there with the whole Sonya thing, like I mentioned. The Viking Raiders quick interview was pointless. It was bad. Their accent is awful. Not a great talking smack here for February 5th, 2022. Thank you guys for checking out my review in this video. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. More videos coming daily throughout the week. Have an awesome rest of your weekend, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.